I'm Danny Otto. Welcome into another episode of That Recap Show. Now, before we get into the episode, might want to issue major spoiler alert. Just kidding. There's no spoilers. We're going to be talking about all of the latest news from DC, from Warner Brothers, from HBO Max, and we always have to throw Marvel in there. So without further ado, let's start the show.
Poppin' Off presents That Recap Show.
Hello there. I wasn't dancing in the background. Joining me as always, it's hashtag Jon Rico.
How you doing? Hey, hi. What's up? How's it going?
Or hashtag dancing Rico.
That's what we can do spider dancing. Mm-hmm.
So how's it going?
Boy, it's been quite a week, hasn't it?
Oh, it's been interesting. I was saying in the intro, we got lots of things to talk about. We don't just have one topic this time. And what's going to be even cooler is if you have anything that you really want to talk about, we'll definitely be recapping it. We have a list of, like I said, we've got HBO Max, Warner Brothers stuff to talk about. We've got some not so fun DC news to talk about. We've got some Marvel news, Marvel leaks, Marvel interesting topics to talk about. We can even talk about our internet problems here right now. We're going to be recapping everything from the past week.
Boy, that was rough.
Well, what's funny is, so I know you had the little blip, like where you guys signed off, but normally we don't go that long. So the second blip technically wouldn't have actually happened. You know what I mean? Because normally we don't go that long. So
no, and then once I had that last outage, it was well past the show. It lasted well past the show, Dad. I was gone it was out for a couple hours, and I was very, very sad.
And you were not happy.
I was not.
You were not happy to be here.
I was a very mad, sad person.
So we're gonna be throwing up as many comments as we can during the show. But if you have anything you want us to recap, TV, movie, cancellation related, let us know. Yeah. And we'll go on from there. But we have a ton of things to start off with. We might as well just kick this off. We've got a lot of big news about HBO Max. So that's their old logo. Let me find the new HBO Max logo. There it is. There is the new. From now on, at least until HBO Max no longer exists, this is the new HBO Max logo. I made it myself. So if they want to adopt it for the time being, I have a fee. But
it's a Foster logo. It needs a home.
but yeah, you want to kick us off with just like the shitstorm that is HBO Max right now?
Yeah. Okay. So we kind of got this all kind of lumps in with our two stories kind of go hand in hand, but WB and HBO Max, or WB Discovery more so, I think they merged a while back, and so now, but we kind of got the announcement a few days ago or a couple days ago that they're going to become like one big streaming service now. But now that their content is going to be divided in very different ways. And it's all very, it's worded in interesting ways where they're saying, the WB Discovery stuff is more, the female skewed content. And then they put in genredoms, and then they put HBO Max was like the fandom stuff like that, where then, male skewed content. I'm like, this is kind of a weird way to put things out there for your overall plan.
And is that saying that I can't like the Harley Quinn TV series because Harley Quinn is supposed to be skewed for more like female viewers or something? Number one,
I mean, that's the thing. You're saying fandoms aren't like are exclusive to one or the other. Like that doesn't make a lot of sense in the grand.
That's like saying we're not going to put Wonder Woman on because it's a female lead movie. Wonder Woman was a great DC movie. I love that movie.
Exactly. It's a really weird thing to be putting out there as far as like what you're saying you're going to be putting your focus on overall. But of course, this all It's all just really weird. Like, I don't really know what to make of it, really.
Nothing's been good. Let's just say it that way. Nothing has been good. It's kind of just gotten worse. I feel like with
Yeah.
every new thing that comes out, it's
Mhm.
kind of just gotten worse because it was like very confusing. And then all of a sudden we got the announcements. Do you want to start kicking off like the cancellation announcements and stuff? Like just
Yeah. So I didn't want really want to dive into both things so quickly, but of course, but it kind of has to because, of course, this kind of comes off the heels of the announcement that the Batgirl movie was just outright like canceled. Like they're
yeah.
just not gonna do it, and it's a $90 million movie that was near completion. That
In post production, right?
yeah,
Like
it
they're
was
not even
pretty much it was
filming
in post
anymore.
production, yeah, and it's had like test screenings and stuff like that, but you just feel bad for everybody involved at the end of the day. Brendan Fraser, Leslie Grace, the directors who were also, the director was one of the Captain Marvel directors, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and so it's a real bummer to see that this take on the character is not going to happen right there. I see right there we get our first actual look at the Michael Keaton back
Yep.
as Batman, which I thought was really cool that we got to see this, but it sucks that we have to see this now through what could have been photos and probably teaser footage that we'll probably get some down the line, or like that will be like, here's some footage from our Batgirl shoot that we never got to release and stuff
Yeah.
like that. That's how we're going to see this movie from now on.
Wow. Yeah, it's such a bummer. Like, look, I understand. Like, you're cutting costs and all this
Yeah,
crazy stuff. Like, I know it has
tax
to
write
do,
off.
yeah, like with tax, right? Like, obviously, it's stuff that we don't understand. Like, we're not there. We're not CEOs. We're not executives of DC or of Warner Brothers or
Yeah, we're not running
anything
billion
involved.
dollar companies.
Exactly. But from this level and from the level of, most of the people that I trust on social media and like TikTok influencers and movie people that are kind of at least a
Yeah,
level above in the know than me, none of it makes sense. Like this just doesn't smell right, basically.
yeah. Even one of the one of the movie reporters that I follow on Twitter was just talking about how they got an email from a rival executive at another studio saying like, this is like an unprecedented move. Like, I've never seen this before
Yeah.
in movie. And you're just like, wow, we're actually seeing some wild stuff here going on right now. And it and it all kind of goes into what the I think the guy's name is David Zaslav, if the new CEO of Warner Brothers, kind of like what he's laying into what he wants his plans for DC to be. And he was talking about how really like Batgirl didn't fit like the quality that they were looking for in the movies they're gonna start putting out. And so it's like he goes, "We're not gonna." I think the most recent quote was like, "We're not gonna put out something that we don't believe in." And it's really weird because we're getting like kind of multiple reports on like how the movie was being received from test screenings. Um, of course it's just a lot of hearsay at the end of
Yeah.
the day. Um, but if it kind of goes into like all this other stuff with DC projects going on, that we still don't really know what's going to happen, and but also the fact that he's saying that he wants to do this kind of 10-year plan like Marvel, and that's so it kind of is like, is that what they're gonna is if you have a plan, that's the whole thing, because if you just jump into it and you try to just jump to the big stuff right away, that's where you fail. So if you're we have to take this plan year by year now, of course. Um, and just see how they're going to approach it from there. But of course, now it's just going back to being centered around the big three, and who knows what else from there.
Hey, Billy McDonald.
What's going
Yeah.
on? What's up, Billy?
Nothing good, Billy. We're talking about all the latest HBO Max DC cancellations and everything like that. So if you want to jump on board and talk about your opinions with that, let us know.
I
But
mean, good or bad on the end result of this plan is to be determined,
well,
because what where DC was at right now was not exactly the best state, but there was like a sliver of hope in regards to some projects. But then some of that hope was smashed away with some outside circumstances, especially involving certain actors involved in the franchises right now.
which as of now, as of the live recording of this show,
Yeah.
that still is slated to release worldwide in theaters.
One of the
Yet
main characters, so in a business sense, it makes sense. But when like you're talking about the liability that this guy is in general, you have to realize that this is going to be just one and done.
Yeah. Man, I said this last week, and I don't know if you heard all of what I said last week, because I know you were having some connection issues, and I was talking back and forth with Martin about this, and so this I do think you missed some of what I was saying.
Yeah.
For me, obviously, I skew a little bit more Marvel, but I didn't grow up with Marvel. It's not like I grew up loving Captain America and Iron Man and all and like Marvel comics and stuff. I knew Batman and like, you know, the Joker, and the Flash and Superman and stuff like that. Not all DC. Like, obviously, I loved Spider-Man. I still do. He's pretty much my favorite is Spider-Man. But at the same time, it was a mix of both DC and Marvel. So I'm not coming from like looking at it and going, well, everything DC puts out is going to be bad. There's plenty of stuff that I like from DC media-wise. It's just I have a problem with them trying to force fit into a plan that didn't work the first time that they tried it. Like, look, Marvel took the time to make it work, and they didn't have somebody else that they were rushing to catch up with or to equalize with. So the stuff I feel like that works for DC is the stuff when they're not trying to do the same thing. So like Shazam, I feel like that worked. And I feel like these, and I mean, to another extent, the Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie, like having these,
the DC Black projects,
having these projects, these single projects, and having the animated series and stuff like that. Harley Quinn series is great. I love that series. Right. And others, I mean, Peacemaker, same thing. Like, I love these series, and I think they should be banking more on these side things that they're doing instead of concentrating all of their effort, which is what you were already starting to touch on. Moving forward, they want to concentrate all of the effort on the big wow projects and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, that was one of the quotes. I mean, it wasn't exactly that. I know I'm paraphrasing, but he was saying something like that's what they want to concentrate on, is the big budget wow ones type of thing.
Yeah, and so of course, like these the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker and Shazam and all that, they're all kind of set within like this. They're like Snyderverse adjacent. But there's stuff that you can build a new thing off of at the end of the day, and actually, it goes into what you were saying, how how Marvel had this plan. Now that if they do have this 10-year plan, they want to tackle it a certain way with certain characters and stuff like that, and open the doorway to over other characters. Maybe this is their chance to finally. It might take a long time because it's a 10-year plan, of course, but maybe by the end of this plan, we'll actually be like, hey, maybe they're onto something here. And remember, the way these movies come out is every 2 to 3 years anyway. So that 10 years is gonna, it could pop up faster than we know it. But and there's so many projects right now that are kind of like up in the air as far as like what we don't know about them, and if they're playing into that plan,
we don't know what's going to be canceled and what's not. Keep going, but I just wanted to add that we don't know anything could be in jeopardy right now. Like, I mean,
right? Well, I don't know if we wanted to go into our next thing, which kind of plays into what we're talking about right now, is like talking about the Blue Beetle and the Supergirl projects, and we have like the Green Lantern project was one of the things I forgot about, and we have like all these we have so many things that we're kind of waiting on, and I'm wondering if we haven't gotten like the confirmation that these things aren't happening. So if there's still plans for them to still be a part of this 10-year plan, I'm excited because I want, I do want more focus than just, the Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. As much as I love their stories, especially Superman, like I feel like Superman, as far as the big three is concerned, has like gotten gypped as far as like modern day stories. But I would like to get more of like the overall DC roster involved with some great interactive stuff, because like really at its best, DC universe I think is on par with the Marvel universe as far as the way the characters interact with each other and how they help each other out and stuff like that. So if they can actually nail that down, I want it. So like if you have a plan, just please make it a good plan. Like I don't think you can have a director overseeing the entire universe like they had the first time. And you need to have a Kevin Feige-esque figure overseeing this. And like I'm rooting for him at the end of the day. I'm rooting for him.
Yeah, and I know. Look, I know for you, it's like Marvel, DC, and DC. You got a little bit more DC. I know that.
I like them all, man. I just want good stories at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I feel that way too. superhero comic book movies, I just want good movies. It's not like a Marvel versus DC thing. Like I said, I love Shazam. I love Wonder Woman. I mean, there are some great
Aquaman.
Yeah. There are some great, major releases, but there are also some great, smaller releases like the Peacemaker
so
series.
Many great characters.
I thought was great, and I just don't want them to go, well, it worked for Marvel, so we're going to do a 10-year plan like that, so it's got to be big movies or nothing. I just, like you said, if the movies are good, I'm all for it. But if their plan is to just try to cookie cutter the plan that Marvel did and just go, you know what, we're just going to do that for 10 years. Right. Because even Marvel didn't do that. Marvel took a risk. Their first movie was Iron Man, which wasn't even a top tier at the moment.
No, I remember when that movie was coming out, I'm like, I got an Iron Man movie. And then, of course, you never expected that to be what it, snowballed into. It's just like, I remember being like, man, it's not like another Spider-Man movie or even like a Punisher, like, because all these characters are kind of thrown into the forefront before Iron Man.
Yeah.
And now what Iron Man is now compared to what he was is night and day.
Yeah. And I mean, do we even know if we're going to get the Penguin spinoff? Because HBO Max might not be existing.
Batman. I think it's because we don't know what they're going to do with the original scripted material, but I feel like that falls under their priority franchise stuff. Is Eleven getting into stuff over there? What's going on? Ghost?
I don't know what just happened. I think my ice just exploded.
Which?
You heard that, right?
I heard it. That was wild.
Like my glass.
Your ice just cracked?
Dude.
Did it hop out of the glass? What's going on? You got a cricket in your ice too?
Yeah, like, I mean, I'm looking at the glass. The glass is not shattered or broken, but definitely something just like fucking.
That was really funny.
Sprung out of my glass. I have never seen that happen before. That's live television for you.
Yeah, you love it.
It definitely has to do with 11.
We're doing it live.
Who's camping out in my bathroom currently. But I mean, even though Penguin is associated with Batman, it's like you don't know what's safe because look, Batgirl was associated with Batman. We had Keaton. We have set photos of Keaton in it.
Yeah,
it was supposed to spring towards the new stuff that they were building and like the multiverse in the DC stuff.
J.K. Simmons was going to come back as Gordon, and I got all of the stuff I heard was that Brendan Fraser was great in the movie. And J.K. Simmons is great in the movie as well, basically. And I was like, dang, I'm really bummed I didn't get to see Firefly, Brendan Fraser. Like, really bummed.
Yeah.
The Ghost in the House. Yeah,
Look,
no, really.
I wanted to get canceled.
Cancel that Colin Farrell Penguin show. Or the Arkham show, for that matter. I want that Arkham show bad.
Yeah.
But speaking of Arkham, this kind of leads into the one kind of silver lining of this whole DC, the mess that we kind of got DC Warner Brother HBO mess, and that is Lady Gaga confirmed that she is involved in Joker 2. I think it's Folie à Deux is what they've called the is on the script, and she is going to be the love interest of Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, which is supposed to be set mainly in Arkham Asylum, which is really cool. Really excited to get like a really like. I gotta think it's gonna be just a little, a trippy little mind of a show. You know what I'm saying?
I like it. You centered yourself. My ice explodes out, and I start dropping f-bombs.
Yeah, just making sure for the kids. The kids got to get ready for that joke. Yeah, for the Joker bloodiness that's gonna happen. But I am really excited to see where they're gonna take the Arthur Fleck Joker from here. Is it gonna be another story told within his perspective that is not exactly like reality as we know it? Of course, there's so much in that first movie that you watch and you go, is this really happening, or is this just a Jokerized version of this much? But man, Todd Phillips has really found like his niche in this kind of weird kind of Taxi Driver-esque film style of movie making that he does in a modern day. And I'm really excited to see Lady Gaga take on this character because she's a fantastic actress from everything I've seen her in, especially Star is Born, of course, is kind of like her main big performance. And she's incredible in my opinion on that. But it's supposed to come out October 24th, 2024. So we still got a couple years until it happens. I think that gives Joaquin Phoenix enough time to get super skinny and get his body acclimated to everything he has to do. I'm sure we'll start seeing some set footage around that around early time next year.
Wasn't like the early stuff out about it? Is it's going to be a musical?
Yeah, I've heard some stuff about. I mean that photo that we have from the little teaser they put out is them kind of dancing around, and so there's a great Alex Ross cover of Joker and Harley Quinn that they kind of did in the Snyderverse with Jared Leto and Margot Robbie's versions of the characters, where Joker's in a black and white suit and Harley Quinn's in her classic Harley Quinn outfit. And they're kind of doing like this cool little prom style, like, you know, ballroom dancing style pose. And I would love to see a Todd Phillips version of that particular thing in this movie. Like, I want to see them. Yeah, I want to see exactly what Snow Ninja just said. I want to see Lady Gaga put on the famous Harley Quinn makeup, essentially. But yeah, I'm actually really excited to see those two actors play off of each other because Joaquin's just. He's one of the greatest actors of this generation, in my opinion, and Lady Gaga is just, in my opinion, her talent as an overall performer can transcend into any form of media.
I mean, if they're going to do a musical, they definitely.
And if you're playing into the musical thing, I don't think you can get any better casting, in my opinion. But I can ramble on about Joker all day. But Danny, I don't know. I've never really talked to you about Joker. What you think about this movie, or if you're, what do you think about this?
I mean, I liked it. I'm not like
it's dark.
Yeah, it's super dark. So like, I'm not a big like. I love dark movies, man. Like I'm just not like I watched it once and I appreciate it for what it is, and I thought it was a great movie and it was very well done.
Soundtrack is phenomenal.
I thought it was a great movie. Now I don't know if I feel like rewatching it very often. More lean towards like the brighter movies, and that's not just saying Marvel bright movies. I'm just saying like Shazam and like,
it helps a happy mindset. You don't want you walking out of Joker just being like, whoa. Like I think those are movies that you have to experience.
Oh yeah.
But it's not it's definitely it's not something that you're gonna go back and rewatch over and over because it makes you feel good. Unless unless you're crazy or something like that. But yeah, I'm really glad that Joaquin got the Oscar love for that movie, because it's to see like that style of movie get taken as seriously as it was, and it shows how great a character that the Joker is in the grand scheme of things. It's one of the greatest literary characters of all times.
Yeah, absolutely.
Too much drama for my taste. Yeah, again, that super drama, deep like psychological studies, that's not everyone's into that when they go to watch a movie. And that's totally fine.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I appreciate it for what it was. It's not my favorite movie in general. Like, not even getting into the DC or Marvel anything. It's just I watched
think it came out at a good time too. I think that's what the time it came out, I think, was a very interesting time for DC movies. Like this weird transitionary period for Batman. I think it really opened this cool discussion about whether or not this Batman was like, what if he was going to be Pattinson's Joker or whatever at one point and all that stuff. But I really like that they put him in his own world, and we're really just getting this Joker story from his perspective.
So now we have different worlds because apparently
multiverse, baby.
Ben Affleck Batman is back for Aquaman 2. So now apparently Keaton is in Flash.
Glad to see him back because
I like Aquaman, and Pattinson's in his own world. So we got 3 Batmen at the same time.
Hell yeah. I like it. I like Ben Affleck's Batman. I like his Bruce portrayal, especially. I think he does a really good job of kind of playing that kind of playboyish figure with a little bit of darkness and at the same time.
We haven't seen Keaton's yet, but like Ben Affleck's Batman is like I'm a little too rich for this shit type of thing. Like that's kind of the attitude of Ben Affleck.
I like it. I want like a Tony Starkish Batman in a way.
Yeah, kind of. Just
not
a little
smart.
Bit. Obviously a little bit on the darker like hinge.
Oh yeah, way darker story.
Yeah, it's DC in general, but I want Keaton's Batman to be like Riggs from Lethal Weapon, just be like, I'm too old for this shit. Just all the time. Like I just want that to be like his catchphrase, like the whole time. I just want Keaton because I mean Keaton's even said in interviews that like he's done with like superhero movies. He's just like superhero movies are dumb. Like
Yeah.
he said that in some latest interviews. I don't know if that's exactly his quote, but I do know that he's come out to say like superhero movies are just like type of thing. So I just want his portrayal of Batman to be like on that same level and just be like, I'm too old for this shit, man.
Right. And we got a comment from Billy too. The darker path of the recent movies works for me. It's an entirely different feeling leaving the theater than say the Dark Knight series. And yeah, I definitely agree. And I'm really excited for the Black Adam movie in that sense because I don't really know how we're gonna end up leaving this movie because the way we always want to love The Rock. I think that's kind of like what the grand almost it's hard not to love the guy in general. So the fact that he's playing this pretty brutal character and even in the footage that we've seen, he's done some pretty gnarly stuff. I'm really curious to see how we're gonna leave this movie at the end of it and if there's gonna be like this cool little if DC leans into more of the anti-hero slash like villain stories and stuff like that, because I think there's some really good. I think they call it DC Black. Yeah, the side project like Joker and stuff they do. Gosh, I would love to see like a Mr. Freeze story done like that, where you think you can really hit some emotional tones with that. I would love to see a Lex Luthor story done this way, where you can do a really cool like kind of corporate kind of elite level kind of rise of a power type of deal with Lex, involving like his father and stuff like that, leading into like him losing his hair and all that.
Well, because I've been texting you about this. I started rewatching Smallville and everything. I love that actor's portrayal of Lex. I don't know if there's a bet like in my head, all of the different people that have portrayed Lex. I don't know if there's a better person. And
Michael Rosenbaum.
Not only that, but his podcast is awesome. Like
very good.
He seems like the nicest guy in the world, which is so opposite. And they even say that like some of the people, like some of the best actors that portray some of the darkest people are like the genuinely nicest people in the entire world. Cause it's easier for them to play the opposite than to play somebody very similar to themselves because they can get into character better. Because if you're playing somebody who's opposite of you, you can build this whole fantasy and you can be like, yeah, this isn't me. I don't need to put any part of me in this. Like I am full tilt dark in this. Yeah. And they say that's an easier step almost. Not, I mean, obviously I have no acting experience, so I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm just saying stuff that I've read and things like that. It's almost easier to play someone further away from yourself than to play yourself or to play something like really close to yourself. Cause then you're not really in it as much type of thing. But he seems like the genuinely nicest person that I've ever talked to.
It just kind of like off the top of my head, it reminded me of this one clip I saw of Jimmy Campbell Bower, the guy who plays Vecna in Stranger Things, of him interacting with all the kids in the facility. And you gotta think like they're all like when he's able to go into like that hands behind the back and like demented look that he's able to do in that show, and then what they had to like they have to see that in person. So it's like I have to imagine like when you're playing a role like that, and then you have to also give like this really comforting feeling to be like, hey, I'm still like I'm just me. So I think it's real a testament to the craft of acting, in my opinion, when you can get actors who can portray this level of character and also still be completely genuine human beings at the same time. Like it doesn't come easy to them.
yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. I mean, I didn't want to I don't want to speak for both of us, but like, I mean, there's been a lot of actors who have played Lex Luthor, both in in movies and in multiple TV shows. We had like
quite a few in the movies.
But I think I always forget his name, but the Lex in Smallville, I think is the best.
Yeah, I think that era of Lex is a really cool era of Lex to cover. But I think aside from Gene Hackman was the one who played the original Lex Luthor, if I'm not mistaken. Like I feel like I'm blanking, but I know that's the right answer. I feel like he did a really great job in that role, of course, like in like that stage of Lex's career. But I feel like we really need to get a really solid like comic accurate Lex with like the Lex suit and all that. And, because we don't, again, like the movies in the 70s, they kind of dive a little bit into Superman's kind of mythos and stuff like that. But since then, like the stories have evolved so much, especially within Superman. Like I would love to see an all-star Superman show or a series, or a movie, or even like yeah, even something with Supergirl, like involving all that, or Brainiac storyline is a big one I've always wanted to see. Like I want to see his lineup expanded way more. But yeah, that's a big tangent off of what we were talking about Joker too. But I'm I there's so much like I want to look forward to a DC, and I can go on forever and ever with all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, look, like I said, today's kind of more of just we're letting things flow because we have some stuff, we have some not so great news, but let's get into some good some good ends of that news. I was gonna say gooder news, but like that's not. Let's use
my beer's gonna foam up again, Danny. I'm scared.
Oh no. Cheers to everyone out there. It is at least on the East Coast. It's after 5, so cheers to everybody out there.
Why is foam so gross?
But it tastes so good.
Beer foam does not taste good.
Foam in general.
True. Cheers.
I'm late. I'm late. Wish Smallville would expand. Oh, that would be so cool. Isn't there going to be like a Smallville cartoon? Or something?
I thought I heard something like that. I mean, the closest thing we got to a Smallville expansion was when Tom Welling showed up in the CW crossovers as Clark, a retired Clark in that area,
right?
Living on the Smallville farm, which I thought was really cool. Like,
married to Lois, and
so yeah, married to Lois, and it kind of goes into like one more thing with the whole DC stuff, is that where actually the Flash is ending, which is also kind of going to mark the end of basically the CW universe, because they're going to wipe out, I think, most of their TV shows and treat their DC shows sheesh. DC shows like the Marvel show, because I think Peacemaker is a safe show because it fits within the universe that they are probably going to establish, and James Gunn has actually already said like this does not affect Peacemaker at all. Like
luckily James Gunn.
They know they have a hit on their hands with that one, so like I think that's the stuff like when they proven hits are okay. I think even Harley Quinn to an extent could be okay because she is a mainstay character at the end of the day. Like I think there are characters that they look at, they go, okay, we have something with this, and then they do something with that. The unproven characters are the ones we have to worry about.
I totally agree with that, and I get that. I hope they don't get lost in the shuffle, because we know all this crazy, weird shuffling is going to be happening with HBO Max and Warner Brothers Discovery and all of this stuff. Number one, I don't have a subscription to Warner Brothers Discovery app or whatever that is. So if whatever gets moved over there is gone.
Well, when they get merged, when they get merged, is it going to be? Or HBO Max members are going to have to switch to a new service, or is it going to all go? That's what I'm kind of wondering.
It's
as far as that whole merger goes.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to figure out because I don't know what happened because I knew a lot of people that had like HBO Go, and then when HBO Max became a thing, HBO Go went away. But I don't know if they got free subscription to HBO Max for like a certain amount of time, or if they just had they're like, hey, you're not going to be charged anymore, but hey, you don't have any subscriptions, so you got to get HBO Max or nothing. I don't know what happened in that, so I'd imagine probably whatever actually happened is probably the same thing that's going to happen. It's either your subscription bleeds over, or you drop and you have to re-up a different subscription type of thing. But in the transition, that's what I'm worried about. Things getting lost in the shuffle, like the Harley Quinn cartoon series. I haven't even started the new season of that yet.
I haven't either, and I feel bad that I haven't now because I hope I'm not contributing to the inevitable death of the show.
Exactly. So I'm gonna. You sure as hell. I know I'm gonna start binging.
That's why I've been saying, Matt. That's why I'm team both sides. Like I gotta absorb all of it because I don't want shit like this that keep happening. Like I'm tired of this constant like thing with DC that we're going through this. Because you don't want to be like the person who's like. Or you don't want to be that, but some people like to be the people who are like, Marvel's beating DC, and here's another reason why they're beating them. This is what's happening to them, and that's why I don't like, as far as like the whole fandom rivalry, because even the studios and everything like that, like Marvel wants DC to succeed because then it's going to make them want to be better.
Yeah,
that's how rivalries work.
Yeah, right. It's the same thing as in like sporting events and stuff like that. Obviously, you want your
You shouldn't want a
greatest.
blowout. You shouldn't want a monopoly over everything. Like you
Because
should want.
I mean, I know
competition.
this is totally an East Coast thing, but think about Yankees and Red Sox. You want those games to always be the grinding out hardest games that
Yeah.
both of those teams play, because then they sell tickets, they sell packages of MLB stuff, they
100%.
everything. You want those to be the biggest series ever with your opponents. You want your opponents to be doing good, because if you blow them out like half the season, then no one's going to care for the rest of the season when those matchups happen again, type of thing. So it's the same thing with like DC and Marvel. You want both of them to be good, because if they're both good, then they're going to be fighting to be better, type of thing.
100%.
Everything raises.
And my boy DB put up a good point. Like DC's advertising is not great when it comes to like stuff that's not the big projects. Essentially, they're streaming exclusive shows like Harley Quinn. Like if they're putting out Harley Quinn marketing material the way that like Deadpool marketing material kind of went like they handled the marketing material according to the character, and they haven't really done that with Harley Quinn. They did okay in the first season. Like I think that's why the show was such a success. But as the show goes on, they just rely on the built-in audience. But like keep trying to draw in more people, especially when the show is getting bigger and as far as like what do with their stories and stuff like that. Like,
I mean, it's the same thing. I know we're talking about Harley Quinn, but it's the same thing with Peacemaker. Like,
yeah,
let John Cena go to all the Comic Cons and just have him walk around as Peacemaker. Like,
oh yeah, I bet if they had started filming season 2 and had some stuff, he would have done that. Like especially because it's Rock.
yeah.
So, and I almost feel like we might get that like next con where they have footage ready that we're gonna see. And he did that before the show already. He was going around every single show in costume. You wouldn't be able to see him though. Dang it, DB! I hate you so much.
I wish I had.
That's true. Like every time, the one time I played Fortnite in the last 4 weeks, I played as John Cena, and no one could see me on the map. It was pretty crazy. Yeah, but dude, like, I want them to move forward with the Green Lantern stuff, because if you there's so many things like you tap into the potential. There's so much you can do, and I'm like, maybe the whole thing is like not introducing everybody through their own show and everything like that, but you introduce characters within shows. So like, if you're gonna do the Peacemaker show, why don't you introduce bigger characters who might actually have a movie come out or something like that, and draw the interest. So that's where your inspiration from the Marvel universe can actually come into, and seeing how they do certain things like that.
And what just speaking exactly on your topic, like when we saw Suicide Squad and we saw Peacemaker and Suicide Squad, I believe I said this exactly to you. How the hell are they going to make me want to watch a whole series of Peacemaker? He was an asshole. Like, I don't give any more shits about this person, type of thing. And by the end of episode 1, or even before the end of episode 1 of the Peacemaker series, I was like, in
you believer.
Whole series, love it. And I know it's James Gunn, and I get it. Like he has a
that's an obscure character to use too. Yeah. Like imagine what you can do with one of the big characters who have like this rich storylines already for you to use at your disposal. They've like already dropped the ball on like a few great characters, even like Swamp Thing and stuff like that. I would just like them to really kind of like find good filmmakers and write good stories who handle these characters.
Exactly. So
and you did lose me a sports ball. You're right, Billy. Yeah, sports ball talk.
Wait, where did Billy put that comment?
I was looking at chat.
Oh,
I
missed that comment. I would have put that up for sure.
I have listened. I knew what he was talking about, but I was looking at chat.
Look. To be fair, my day job is for sports talk radio and sports gambling radio type of thing, and TV. So all of it. We
have our niche.
Yeah. All of that's going by, but I just thought, I was like, it's a perfect comparison. Anybody out there that loves a little bit of sports, that's spot on. It's spot on. I give myself extra points for that. Okay. I give myself extra points. So
We've DC'd ourselves out. I think
that's what I was going to ask you. So
yeah.
Have we fully extended?
I think we've vented. Do you feel good about what you said about DC? I feel pretty good about what I said about DC.
So you want to mosey over to the Marvel side of things?
Yeah.
All right. So let's kick
this
off. Let's kick this off with some Marvel stuff. So let's start off with basically the next big project. Now we know we have some shorts that are going to have stuff to do with Groot, which going to be fun. Obviously, we're going to recap those. We don't know how they're going to be presented, but that's the next thing coming. But right after that, we're getting a series that I think we're both really excited for right now. Every single promotional thing I see for this, I get more excited, and I'm of course talking about the She-Hulk series. Everything that we're hearing about this, other than it's being pushed back a week.
No, a day.
Is only a day.
Just a day. Just from Wednesday to Thursday.
Oh, I thought, but I thought also it was starting a week later.
No, just a day. Just the next day. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. No, we're good.
Okay. But anyway,
moves one day later. Rundown.
Did you see the newest news though that now they're saying that Charlie Cox's Daredevil doesn't have a cameo spot in it. He actually has
a
significant role in it.
I heard that. I've heard things about their interactions, so I would assume that it was. We're slated for a lot of cameos in the show, Danny, from what I've heard. And
it's the perfect way, though. She's a lawyer and she's representing superheroes and supervillains, I guess, at this point too.
Yeah.
And so
it was really funny in the trailer when she talked about like it's not going to be like one of those cameo of the show, or I think it's the special features clip that they put out. Where like, this is not going to be one of those special cameos of the week kind of show. He goes, except for Blonsky and Wong. And he goes, and Bruce. And she didn't even mention Matt, of course, but like, yeah, I think that there's still some in there that we don't know about, which it could be very cool. Like, I think in the trailer we saw like the Wrecking Crew, which is a really cool, like little side villain group in the especially in the Hulk world. But this show looks like so much fun, man. Like, I can't
breaking the fourth wall, like just everything in it, like. Everything we've seen about this show just makes me more excited for it. Like I can't wait. I just think it's going to be on the level of like Deadpool, like where we're getting breaking the fourth wall. We're getting that kind of humor. And now that we know that like, Disney Plus isn't afraid to have more mature stuff on their platform, the sky's the limit of kind of like the jokes that they can kind of get away with. Like, I'm not saying they're going to go full bore because we know that's not going to be TVMA, but we are getting TVMA projects on there. And obviously we already have Deadpool 1 and 2 on.
Moon Knight was also kind of like their first dip into like bloodier content too. They made a point of that. Like that's, I think when that show was coming out was when they made that upgrade to the service. And they were putting up Daredevil and Punisher. Yeah, we need Bernthal back as Punisher ASAP.
I am hoping that he gets introduced in the Daredevil series.
That's full circle for sure to bring him back in the show, that one that he started in Netflix. But he is the character probably that would make the most sense to bring back into that show for sure. Gray and Red Hulk, I wish we could get Red Hulk, but I don't know if we'll get him now with the passing of William Hurt.
They may have to
roles. They might have to readjust that character in some way, just make him another kind of military general who takes the serum. But yeah, now that I think about it, like the one thing that's kind of bummed me out about the whole Hulk storyline in the MCU is how the Ross family has kind of been underutilized. I think they've done a good job with Thunderbolt Ross in a sense, kind of using him in Civil War and all these different little projects here and there, as like a government personality. So that, but Betty, of course, being such an integral part of Bruce's story, of course, being like his main love interest. It's like, it's a bummer that she's kind of been thrown by the wayside after the first movie, because I really like Liv Tyler in that role. But it was also cool to see that character brought back in What If for a little bit too. Like the fact that they're like still acknowledging that movie's presence in the universe was kind of a cool thing. And of course Blonsky's involvement in these recent movies as well.
Yeah, I mean, the rumors about what could potentially happen with the Hulk post She-Hulk series are getting very interesting.
I just wish that Universal would just give up those dang rights.
I know. I don't know how long they have them, but like, look, if we got like, say,
forever,
a 4-part mini series, and I'm talking like an hour and a half part type of thing, like that we can get some substantial content type of thing, and actually that's how they get around the rules type of thing that way. Could be pretty cool. A World War Hulk, and just like, you know, Bruce goes completely crazy type of thing.
Yeah. So obviously that also means that the show is going to be airing on Thursdays now, and that obviously throws a wrench into what we usually like to do, which is when we like to pre-record our recaps on Wednesdays, and then come on Friday. So it looks like we're going to be doing some live recaps for this one.
we might have to do that. I mean, obviously we're gonna see how everything falls, because I mean the other reason that they're moving it is because Andor is coming out, and that's going to be on Wednesdays. So it's like,
and it looks like those are going to be overlapping around the middle of the season. So that's pretty cool. But at least, you know, we can do some regular recaps for those, and that's going to be a pretty decent sized season as well. So
and what to do. A little bit of sad news on that is that, you know, well, exciting news, but sad news, but because it'll interfere with some of the recapping, is, you know, right in kind of towards the end of She-Hulk and Andor, I'll be away for 2 weeks. I don't know if I'm saying. I don't know if I'm saying
do
why
like a
yet.
super mega duper recap.
Yeah, we're definitely have to just we'll do like a pre me being away super mega.
Or do I just go live on myself and be like, help?
You'll just give your side of everything. And no, put just a JPEG photo of me, just like the whole time.
Boom.
And you'll just throw it over to me.
Big reveal. Like this. I had a soundbite of you still going boom on my computer, and I forgot to re-record it.
Do you have it?
No, not. It's not on my Go Look floor. I got to re-record it. All my clips get saved, so I gotta find it.
I could just record some catchphrases that you could just trigger whenever you want to.
That's true. Can I get a boom, Danny?
Boom! Big reveal.
What?
Boom!
There we go.
We'll just record like 10 of them, and then you'll just be able to talk the whole time. I'll just interject every once in a while.
I love it.
All right, but moving on from the She-Hulk premiere, I mean, it's not real news yet.
It's progress.
It's just it's just exciting because the potential of the project is exciting. We got news that, you know,
leave that photo up.
This photo?
Yeah, just leave it up for a second.
Okay. We got news that, you know, Ryan Reynolds is starting to get into shape. We already know that the Deadpool script is, you know, all but written at this point. So pre-production is going to start very soon. And you want me to take the photo down?
Yeah.
Welcome to Deadpool's head. Now surrounding you in sound.
Echoes.
That I have one. I have the exact same thing behind me. Greatest investment ever. I pre-ordered it.
It's like, I showed it to the little kids and they freak out.
The day it went out for pre-order, I was like, best money I've ever spent. And then I got it in the mail, and I was like, it's even better than I thought it was going to be, because the facial features, and that shirt's awesome.
I'm Deadpooled out right now, dude. Let's go.
Absolutely awesome. But it is so good. Like the eyes that move, and it almost looks like he's talking underneath the mask. It's incredible for the money that it was. Like, it's one of the best things that I think Hasbro's made.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
and you can stop it in like any little facial expression too, depending on what you want it to look like when you're displaying it. So
and it fits on a bookshelf. You can't see it because it's directly behind me, but it fits in one of the little cubbies of my bookshelf. So eventually, when I have that, when I'm on a different place, I'm going to have that on a bookshelf that faces like a walkway. And I'm just going to have it on all the time. So random people walk by it, it just triggers that type of thing. That's what I'm going to do.
Beautiful. But so this all is obviously, this photo is just telling us that Ryan is getting in shape for Deadpool 3, which is obviously going to be Deadpool's debut into the MCU. And we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah, we'll get that next.
Yeah, for sure. But really, what just kind of gives us a chance to kind of talk about what we want to see in Deadpool 3 overall, and how you want his MCU debut to be handled.
Well, not only, yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry to cut you off.
Okay.
We don't know for sure. Like, we know he's getting into shape for Deadpool.
Yeah.
But is that to get into shape for Deadpool for his first appearance, or is that to get into shape for the filming of Deadpool 3? Because obviously it's going to be different. We're not going to have Deadpool 3, and that's his first introduction to the MCU. We're going to have him somewhere else.
Who knows?
It's still going to happen.
Yeah.
I think we have his first appearance before Secret Wars, which we know we're getting in Phase 6.
Oh, 100% we will.
So,
there's plenty of there's that whole slate of unreleased or unannounced movies.
I got it. Keep talking. I got it somewhere.
Yeah, we got that whole slate of like unreleased movies of here. Oh, perfect. Great graphic. But look at all these little blank slots going on over here in going on 2024 and 2025. Yeah. And so obviously I think we're gonna get the movie in between that time. I would imagine sometime late next year. If he's trending right now, I'd imagine that's gonna fall somewhere in that fall 2024, winter 2024 time slot, in my opinion. But we want to see more maximum effort and less sure cocking. and he needs to be the new Stanley cameras. 100%.
I would like that. That's an
interesting way to approach him for sure. But what I want to do, once this be announced at D23, most likely this is probably going to be one of the titles that's going to be announced along with a few other things that they have up their sleeve. But what I'm trying to kind of get at is that Kevin Feige did kind of talk about Deadpool 3 a little bit when someone asked him about it, and he was talking about how the third movies and franchises typically try to go a little bigger. The Civil Wars and the Ragnaroks and all these movies that kind of up the scale a little bit in their third outing. And I'm really excited to see what that means for Deadpool, because that might not only means that they're going to do some pretty nutty stuff as far as Deadpool just being in the MCU in general, but they might introduce a lot of stuff through Deadpool because of this. And I think that's
why I'm wondering.
Yeah, it's a great way to do it, because he's a character that everyone's going to go to the movies to go see, no matter what. People love Deadpool.
So, and I don't know if you know this the TikTok movie guy is what I always call him, but it's Straw Hat Goofy on TikTok.
Oh yeah, that's my boy.
All the time, love him, and he does live streams all the time. I was actually in his live stream when we were talking, like when he was talking about this. But if you see down here, and it's really small, but in between Kang Dynasty Avengers and Secret War Avengers, there is a summer 2026 right there. That has a blank spot.
2025. Yeah, it's in 2025, I think.
Oh, is it 2025 or 2026?
Yeah.
2025. It's just small. It's too small. I'm literally squinting up there.
It's phase 6. So it's
anyway.
Yeah.
So he's thinking, Straw Hat Goofy's thinking, like, what if the Deadpool 3 goes there? And then so it's in between Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. And that's how it's like a connection type of thing to how we get to Secret Wars. So like the mutants might be introduced there, and then we have them in Secret War. Like if Kevin Feige is really trying to hint at what's going to happen, like what if Deadpool ends up being there? And that's why there's going to be so many big implications of his third movie, is because there's going to be things that are going to be introduced through Deadpool that we're going to then get in Secret Wars.
Yeah, see, like the potential that Marvel has right now with all these characters is limitless, essentially, because you can, especially because of spoiler, the mention of mutants now in Miss Marvel, you can start sprinkling in anything anywhere, because now the concept has been introduced, right? Especially a character like Deadpool. And it's funny, like the Deadpool movies also didn't like Deadpool has like a weird like teleporting ability usually in the books, that like the Ryan Reynolds, not the Ryan Reynolds, the weird X-Men old origins Wolverine version was kind of able to do in some way. So I'm wondering if they'll like kind of add a little more comic accuracy to Deadpool's power set.
He's still got the wristband. It's just time.
The cable thing, yeah.
What happens if that gets re-augmented or re-changed or something like that, and becomes more of a teleporter thing.
So you know what's funny about that is when because the two movies are coming out around the same time, I think, is that everyone thought that Deadpool's thing was one of the Avengers time things from Endgame, and because they were all the same thing, and I was like, that's actually really funny if they can actually work that in, and this whole time we find out that they were actually in cahoots with Deadpool writers, because remember that we were to see a helicarrier in the Deadpool movie too, so they're this is probably a long time coming, and this is probably like, I bet Kevin's had this kind of plan longer than we think he has.
Oh, and I mean, it works out great because I mean, we always refer to Kevin Feige. Like, I understand, like he's in charge of making sure that these things make sense and they make money and stuff like that. But he's genuinely trying to make things better.
He's a genuine fan.
Yeah, and make them for good storytelling and stuff like that. And that's like, it goes back to what I was saying with the DC stuff. Like, I don't want you to copy something. I want you to make it so it's good. Like, and that's what I really feel like Kevin Feige always has kind of tried to do. Like, I mean, sometimes, sometimes it's not the best received, but
copy a formula. A formula can work.
Yeah.
But don't do the outright same thing with different characters. Yeah. Right. Use the characters in the right way.
Right. I totally agree. And so, thinking about characters that have already been introduced, we've had a couple of whoopsie moments of people maybe potentially spilling the beans on sequels happening. Would you like me to cue the first? We have a TikTok submission about the first one. Let's see if this works.
The question on everyone's mind: is there a season 2?
Why else will we be in Cairo?
Did we just get Moon Knight season 2 confirmed by 100%?
Yeah,
Oscar 100%. Isaac, just on a random Twitter or a random TikTok.
Yeah. You know what's cool about that is that got reposted by Mohamed Diab, who is the director of Moon Knight, of course, and so I would imagine that he had to have gotten the okay to do that if he had just gotten spotted and he goes, "Hey, fan just kind of spotted me here. Can I just kind of put it out?" And they're probably like, "Yeah, go ahead." And that kind of a cool way to announce it at the end of the day, like, "Hey, they're out there." Whether they're scouting or they're filming is one thing, but
it's total.
We're gonna get it. We're gonna get more. We're gonna get more story with Mark and Steven and Jake.
I am so excited. Like, I know. Look, feel however you want about the Marvel shows, like the DC. The Disney Plus Marvel shows. I have really liked all of them. Yeah. But especially characters that I didn't know before. Like I've told you this, and I've said it in all of other recaps. I've purposely not dug into the comics so that I could, have everything brand new. And that's what I did for Moon Knight. And now I really like Moon Knight as a character and stuff like that. And especially Oscar Isaac's portrayal of all of the separate characters. It's great. And I mean, we ended that recap both kind of saying, I really hope this isn't the end. I hope we see more. Yeah. And I mean, if we dig even deeper, all of the leaks that were coming out of the copyright titles and stuff like that. I mean, we got a Midnight Suns nod, so we may even be seeing Moon Knight in other properties. Sorry, I have a little thing I fidget with when we're playing because
snap my fidgeting with his Beskar, guys. You're playing with your Beskar, Danny.
I was just cleaning it and it went off.
Oh my god.
I told you I haven't eaten very much. I just had a full drink.
Imagine. Guys.
But anyway, okay. I am super excited for more Moon Knight content, whether it be, see like a brand new season of Moon Knight season 2, or if we're, already starting to scout locations for Midnight Suns and we get a team up series or a movie type of thing. Because I mean, we still have, it's on the radar now. We've got Werewolf by Night, and that's going to be connected.
Yeah, 100%. I'm very curious to see how season 2 is going to be approached now, because we got a few different ways that we can do this. We can if Oscar Isaac wants to stick with making this more of like a self-contained story like the first one was, you can easily do a second season revolving around Bushman and the fact that Bushman's probably been an avatar of another god that we haven't seen yet. I think maybe Ra. I don't think we ever saw Ra in either. We definitely didn't see Ra in Moon Knight, but I don't think we ever saw Ra in Thor either. Spoiler in Omnipotent City.
So.
So spoiler alert: there's no Ra in Omnipotent City. But that is a good little like kind of like moon versus sun storyline that you can set, but you could also kind of balance that storyline with some of the bigger MCU tie-ins if that's something that they're more interested in doing now. So you can do kind of like a storyline that's kind of split between the two. And hey, more Layla is also fine. I love me some Layla, so I'm excited. I'm actually rewatching Moon Knight right now, and the show flows so well when you know everything that's going to happen and just how everything's all the little details that they're sprinkling in. Like it's just a well-crafted show and a really great character to bring into the MCU at this stage of the franchise, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, if they want to go more into mystical stuff, I mean, we can do a season 2 of Moon Knight. We could have Layla's storyline being like she's tracking down Bushman. That obviously, Steven and Mark are going to be trying to help her out a little bit, type of thing with that kind of
both.
Thing. And then we have a subplot with Steven and Mark and
maybe Blade and Black Knight
meeting kind of these other people
because they're out in Europe too. So that's where that can all
slowly putting together a Midnight Suns that
100%.
is there's some sort of bigger mystical overarching threat that they have to draw together, but at least making those initial connections to kind of make it so it's not like an abrupt we meet everybody all at once type of thing.
And they're doing these big crossover events on the TV shows now because we learned that Secret Invasions is the crossover event. So
that's going to be exciting.
What TV shows are going to be crossed, or what is not even just TV shows, like what is crossing over into Secret Invasion, because that's obviously going to play into the bigger MCU. But like if you're going to do like a big TV crossover or something like that, you could obviously do something within the Midnight Suns as well. So it's like and of course now we have a little bit of a Ghost Rider tease in the She-Hulk behind the scenes clip too. We got a little Donnie Blaze.
I think that series is going to be like riddled with little Easter eggs because
it's going to be an important show. The ones that they almost expect you to not think too much of is the ones that are going to tell you like, okay, you didn't want to watch, but we're gonna bring some stuff.
Exactly. Like I think a show that immediately just right away looks like it's going to be very like humor driven show and stuff. Perfect series to put like little tiny Easter eggs that are going to just be nods to things to come. And I think that's a great way to do things. Because you bring people in with the humor, but then it's like, holy shit, there's a Ghost Rider Easter egg, there's a this Easter egg, there's a that, there's a Fantastic Four Easter egg. Like all of these things could be in there, and we're just gonna have to unpack it when it gets here. I cannot wait. But speaking of Secret Invasion, you mentioned it. I know we talked about it last week a little bit, but that, I mean, I cannot wait to recap that because every week it's gonna be like, okay, who's a Skrull? Like, I think that's gonna be exciting.
Yeah, I just want more details about that. I just want to get a good idea of the scope of the story so I can see how we can start to like theorize off of what we know exactly what's gonna happen.
Exactly. I wish I could find the video that we made a long time ago where we were talking about Secret Invasion and Secret Wars.
Oh gosh, our first one, right?
Our very first recording ever. Like not even our first like us doing like a recap. It's literally we were thinking about doing this show called Fantasy versus Reality.
It was basically like my screen test.
Pretty much. And I mean I thought it was really good. It just never ended up getting completely edited.
It's my first time on camera in a while. So or like non-streaming.
Yeah. And I think we I mean basically they're gonna be doing both in the next few phases. So I mean there's no way to prove it now that we did it way ahead of time, but it was there. But speaking of other things that may have leaked about sequels, we had a very funny comedian, Patton Oswalt, who is
Patton
in the MCU, but he may have let something slip. But we have a quick clip of that.
There's Harry Styles and I are in a little post-credit sequence in the Eternals. We play. I play Pip the Troll. He plays Star Fox,
right.
Thanos' brother. It's actually, Al, it's interesting. In early issues of the comic, see, Star Fox originally, when he first appeared, he was.
Come back, come back to me.
They have announced there's going to be an Eternals sequel. Chloe Zhao is going to direct it.
My gosh.
Whoops. Whoops. Did he think maybe that got announced at San Diego Comic-Con, but it's really getting announced at D23?
I think he probably did. He probably thought it was part of the big slate of movies that was introduced. And hey, it's okay. Patton.
I know this was you, but I'm putting it up anyway.
Patton is all of us. He is all of us. Patton is all of us. And I just sit back and roll my. When I start talking about this stuff and I go on my rants, that's just what happens. Like spiritually, I roll back in my eyes, roll back in my head. You're just seeing me on autopilot. But hey, that's the man that gave us the great Return of Boba Fett theorized too, and Parks and Rec. You know what I mean?
Years earlier in Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's one of the more lesser talked about Marvel releases, I guess, of Phase 4. Even though I thought it was a pretty great movie, in my opinion. Yeah. We did get the confirmation that Eternals 2 is coming back, and Chloe Zhao is coming back to direct, and I think that's really great in my opinion. But yeah, I think that there's really no way you can continue the stories of these characters outside of their own franchise right now, because you haven't, they acknowledge the events of the Avengers and Thanos and stuff like that, but there hasn't been a way where the events of their movie or even like how they could tie into other stuff aside from Dane Whitman, which is Black Knight. Yeah, so that's like really the bigger thing, and of course the introduction of Star Fox and Pip the Troll, but that's also a story kind of contained within the Eternals world itself too, because the Star Fox is depicted as an Eternal in this universe as well. But yeah, so yeah, we have that whole thing where it ended where Cersei and I think Kingo and I think Sprite were all taken by Aramesh and
for judgment, right?
Yeah, for stopping the birth of Tiamat. And so we had the other few, Thena and Druig and Malakari, all them on the ship, all trying to kind of they're looking for other Eternals. So I have to wonder if we're gonna get more in depth into like the World Forge and all this stuff, and how Eternals are created, and hopefully expanding more into the whole cosmic side of the MCU, which Thor Love and Thunder did a great job of expanding on that as well. So I have to imagine we're going to be seeing more massive entities within the cosmos of the MCU, which I'm really excited to see, especially and more Pip and Star Fox. I think is going to be really great. I actually think Harry Styles is a really great choice for the Star Fox role, especially when you look at the characters side by side, like a book and live action. Like I think he's a good fit for it for sure.
Very cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I liked Eternals when I first watched it, but I think I enjoyed it more the second time I watched it, to be completely honest. And I don't really have an explanation why. It's just it wasn't even like I didn't like it, and now I actually like it, but it was one of those things.
It's a lot to take in.
Yeah, and I think the second time I watched it, I more kind of knew certain parts, so I wasn't, focused on what's going on type of thing in all these new characters. I was more, looking for other things, and so yeah, I think I definitely enjoyed it the second time. So I'm definitely looking forward to a sequel. I mean, we left off on such a good cliffhanger. Like we have to.
We really did. I mean, like the kind of the big thing that people talk about is how like the credit scenes were kind of the best part of the movie to a lot of people, because that's the stuff that stuck out probably the most to at the end of the day. Yeah. The movie is definitely not without its flaws. The underdeveloped villain, the deviants, and all that stuff. But the way they were able to, dude, what is up with your Beskar stuff and your eyes? You need to chill, my guy.
The magnets on the back of the Beskar are flipping all over the place. I need fidget stuff. Like, look, anyone out there?
Spinner. Do you have a fidget spinner?
No, I've never.
You need a fidget spinner.
I have this little.
You just need something you can spin like this.
Yeah, I have this weird little.
You go look at it.
fidget cube thing that's got like these different things, but it
Yeah,
makes
it clicks.
Yeah, that's the problem. So I can't
Stop
use
clicking.
that one. That's why you always like see me use like playing around with the best card, because then I can go, oh, it feels good, and then I can kind of push around the magnets on the back. But every once in a while, I push the magnet a little too hard. This is live stuff and not interesting, but I apologize because I am super ADHD, so I've got to like. I gotta be, you know,
he's
like,
got restless hand syndrome.
Yeah, I gotta be doing something. Yeah, so I apologize. Keep going. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. But also, like, you know, with the World Forge and stuff like that, you know, you don't take out the possibility of characters like Icarus coming back, because you could just recreate Icarus with new memories and stuff like that, and he doesn't have to be the Icarus that he once was, and maybe he could be an Icarus closer to the books. I'm not gonna lie, Danny, the fidget stuff threw off the one point I did want to make, but I did think of that Icarus point a little bit later. Oh no, I did think of it. So the one thing that we haven't, yeah, keep your hands where you can see him, Danny. Come on.
This is just way more awkward if I have to go like this.
No. Okay, now put your hands down. Put your hands down. So it's the one thing that's really been funny to me about the Eternals is how we have not acknowledged a giant freaking celestial sticking out of the ocean in any other project since. Really, like,
okay,
not even how, why,
okay,
how?
But the funniest thing that I heard in response to that is by people that are way funnier than me on TikTok. Because look, I'm gonna be honest, I scroll through TikTok every morning, you know, as I do. One of the people said, like, you know, there's still like wars going on everywhere around the world right now. How many people are talking about that still?
Oh no!
Like, so it's like emulating real life. It's like, yeah, so people probably freaked out about like a large celestial frozen sticking out.
So that people are just so used to wild shit happening in that world now that a giant sticking their hand out of the earth is normal. I feel like there's still things that, like, I mean, they look pretty freaked out by Aramesh looking out or hovering over the sky to take Cersei out from underneath them, or, you know, at the end of the movie with Dane, you know, all the people who were at that park, they were like, what the frick was that? Yeah. So I'm like, come on. And it was on the news. It was on the news. It was covered on the news in the movie, but it hasn't been covered on the news anywhere else. I'm like, this is wild. Maybe Wakanda Forever, because it happens to do with the ocean. Maybe like Namor's people are like, what the heck is this thing? Ruined my house. We had a Denny's down there, and you ruined it with your celestial.
That's like the equivalent of like a ski lodge, because it was in where was it? It was like in, I'm assuming, like the South Pole or the North Pole.
I think it was like the Indian Ocean or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
You still haven't seen what? Eternals? That's your fault.
What? Billy McDonald hasn't seen it. It's on Disney Plus.
We did a recap on it.
Yeah.
Like a year ago.
Yeah. Like forever ago.
Sucks as that. Love you. To be honest, I was more excited for the post. Yeah, see, that we were talking about. Like, most people were talking about the post-credit scenes and what. And it's funny how, like, we had to like wait for the director to say, "Yeah, that was Blade." Otherwise, we'd have had no idea. Like, so that was a pretty ballsy move on her part to just be like, "Yeah, we'll just have a random voice in there, and then we'll just say later that was Blade." Like, oh, okay, yeah, no, I believe you.
Cool. We all accepted it, so it's fine.
Like, yeah, just I want to see Blade. Show me Blade.
Yeah.
Imagine if they'd been like, you want to do that, Mr. Whitman, and it cuts the blade. Like, that would have been cool. Didn't watch a recap here because I'll wait until I had a chance to watch it. Well, you've had plenty of time. I mean, it's on Disney Plus 45 days after it comes out in theaters. So, like, come on, Billy, watch it this weekend, and then
watch our recap.
You'll see. Yeah, and then watch the recap. Smooches.
I can't think of any way to end better than that.
There we go.
Watch a movie that we've covered, and then watch our recap this weekend. That's
yeah. After we spoiled it for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Billy dropping the ball. You got it. Get wrecked. DP's good. I love DP. DP's one of my.
Oh boy. Well, I mean, there's so many other things we could talk about, but I mean,
say the thing.
Oh.
Oh God, yeah, I watched that. Not good.
I wanted to like that too.
Me too.
It was billed as like a creepy movie and everything, and I was just like,
and then I was like, and no, I know, and Anya Taylor-Joy was so perfectly cast as her character too, and I was like, dang, I wanted more of that. And like, hey, if you're gonna recast characters and bring them back, bring her back. She's great. Magic.
Absolutely.
I think that's what she was.
I think they should pick and choose characters from other stuff that if they were really fan favorites, bring them back, and then
absolutely,
you know, even
especially if they're unused actors within the universe, like just do it,
or bring them back for Secret Wars, because I mean we're gonna have a lot of crazy shit going on in Secret Wars. We have to. We're gonna have,
yeah. Just again, the Rolodex of characters they have is insane, and where you can place them in certain areas and franchises is endless now, and it's pretty wild to see.
We have a long time before we're gonna do a prep show for Secret Wars. I am all for it. You know what? That is a series. Runaways I watched, but Cloak and Dagger I have not watched yet.
First season of Cloak and Dagger was good. I didn't see the second one.
Okay.
Same with Runaways. I didn't see the second season. I didn't finish the second season of that, but those had really good potential, and they actually all had the look and feel of the characters.
Very cool.
But again, they just felt very much a part of their own world, and then but again, those are things you can also just rework again into this world and make it a lot of fun again. Yeah. Same characters too. You could bring all those people back and be like, yeah, we're the Runaways.
Yeah, exactly.
There's dinosaurs and Runaways, and it's cool. That's why you should. If it's still on Netflix, you should definitely watch that show, because one girl is a freaking dinosaur that's like her buddy, and it's awesome.
Billy McDowell said the original Cloak and Dagger movie.
Never saw it. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, I thought.
Yeah, I'll have to look that one up.
Yeah, how long ago was that, Billy?
Sounds like an early '90s thing, because that's when they were doing all those, like the early Captain America movie and Fast, all that stuff. I have to imagine. Tell me I'm wrong, Billy. Dabney Coleman, probably older.
Anyway, should I say it? Say it?
Yeah.
Say
the thing.
Anyway, that's what we think. Let us know in the comments below. What are you waiting to come out? Like, what are you hoping that DC doesn't? Try mid 80s. You interrupt the entire thing.
I give you the benefit of the doubt.
My entire flow. Mid 80s. All right.
Old
all right,
Billy.
Billy. All right.
That's what we think.
That's what we think. Let us know in the comments below. What are you looking forward to seeing in the next couple of years, both DC and Marvel? And what are you hoping lasts, I guess, on the DC side of this latest merger? I mean, for one, I'm really hoping Harley Quinn and Peacemaker make it out. Like, we already know they're safe for a while, but I just hope they continue to be good.
Danny, we forgot something. We forgot to talk about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. DB, we are so sorry.
So sorry about that. All right.
Okay, quickly before that. Yeah, Seth Rogen's Ninja Turtles, right?
It got a title.
Animated. Is it a movie or a show?
Movie.
Movie, right?
I think,
yes.
Right? Or is it a series?
Yeah. It's a movie. Us. Yeah, I know very little details about this, and I've only seen like stills and stuff. But I remember when they announced it. Don't Genta exit me. And he did it wrong. Wrecked. But yeah, honestly, I don't know many details as far as like story wise where this take on the characters is going. But like the I don't know if you ever watched like the Nickelodeon Teenage Mutant Ninja show, but that was actually pretty solid as far as like the storylines they were doing. Like the only thing that threw me off was the animation style itself. But man, it's weird how tricky the Ninja Turtles are to nail as a franchise, especially in the modern day. Especially when the 90s were able to do it so well with the low budget they had and stuff like that, and the way those suits may not translate well enough now, but they're still like in a sense they do. But yeah, every time I see like an animated TMNT thing coming out, I just get kind of bummed at the fact that we had potential with this last Ninja Turtles franchise, and it kind of got wasted a little bit.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, there was a Ninja Turtles and Power Ranger crossover.
Oh man,
did not know this at all.
Yeah, I think I know they've done it in like the comics and stuff like that, but if they ever did it on like the shows, that would be pretty great.
Totally lost on me on this one. Like, I liked my Ninja Turtles. I like my Power Rangers, but
Power Rangers in space. See, I never watched that. That's that. Yeah.
Power Rangers in space.
Whoa, why are they in space, bro?
Definitely didn't watch that one.
No. Yeah. See, so I wish. Yeah, I'll definitely look that one up. But I was. Yeah, so I'm super excited about it, but I need to know more about it to really talk about it.
So you're cautiously optimistic.
I'm optimistic because Seth Rogen, and I feel like he has a handle on the characters. And he, hey, if he can help the boys out, maybe he can help out TMNT.
I cannot. I mean, did you hear about the new? I mean, you mentioned the boys. I've got to continue.
Yeah.
Did you hear that? The butcher's son basically
Ryan is now a regular.
Yeah, he's been promoted to regular for the next season.
Yeah,
which
totally cool.
Goes
really
in.
Curious to see what they're gonna do with that character next season. It's gonna get wild. Yeah, I'm actually rewatching that season with my pops, and we just watched Hero Castle, and it was so funny watching him react. Oh my gosh, it was so funny. I get a kick out of that kind of stuff. But yeah, we're almost done with that, and now I'm gonna taking them through Stranger Things 2, or Stranger Things 4. But
awesome.
Yeah, we rewatched the first episode. We got a lot done. It's pretty cool.
I mean, you did this to yourself.
We did.
Chrissy, wake up! I don't like this. Chrissy, wake up! Hey, hello. Time to wake up. Time to wake up. Can you hear me? Wake up, Chrissy. I don't like this. Chrissy, wake up!
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
That runs 24/7. That lives in my head all the time. Anyway, as I was saying before, that's what we think. Let us know in the comments below. Give us some recommendations of things that you want us to check out and you think maybe we haven't already watched. And you know what? If we like the series, we'll watch a whole season and then we'll do a recap on it and we'll talk about it. This is the awesome part of having live interaction from you guys while we're doing the show. If there's something that maybe we haven't checked out and you think we're sleeping on it, let us know in the comments below. And then we'll be more than happy to watch an entire season and then recap that. And then we'll have another live discussion on just that. And as always, don't forget, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to hear about all of our latest video releases. Bye, everybody!
Poppin' Off presents That Recap Show.